Good God's glorious afternoon, everyone. Welcome back once again to Psalm 146 Home and Garden. Today is a rainy, stormy day, and so I'm gonna do something to lighten the mood here in the house. And I wanna start using up a lot of my ingredients because we're moving this month supposedly, and so I'm gonna try to use up what I got, use up whatever's in the freezer and things like this that are bagged, like flour and sugar and all that. So without further ado, today I'm gonna be making some peanut butter cookies. Now, what I usually do is, oh, that's about to open up on the other side. Okay, uh-oh. So for this, I usually use 2 sticks of butter, but since this one, you can see it's the half stick one, that's what was available at the store at the time. You're gonna use 4 of this. And then the first thing to do is leave that out and also leave the egg out until they get to room temperature and they're nice and movable. And I use about half of the thing of the Skippy, the peanut butter. You could use whatever brand you like, but I'm a real stickler for certain brands, so that's just it with that. And then I'll say about almost 2 cups of flour, not exactly, just give or take. And then I use equal parts, half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of regular sugar. And then the vanilla extract, I like to throw in a whole big glob of it. So I'd say about maybe 2 tablespoons or so is what I would be putting in. I usually use McCormick, but this is what I have on hand today. And then, the first steps is to cream the butter along with the peanut butter, mix that up. And I like to do all my wet ingredients first and then add in the dry stuff. So the egg is gonna go in after that. I put a little sprinkle of this in there, maybe a few spoonfuls or so. I honestly don't measure that. We're gonna put in a spoon of this, a pinch of salt to taste, and of course, I got some Ghirardelli chocolate chips that need to be used up too. They've been sitting up there in the baking cabinet for a while, which is, the cabinet's not specifically made for baking, but that's what I use it for all of the baking items. Well, not the ones that are refrigeratable, of course, but you understand. And so I got the oven preheating right now to 375. And I have 2 of these little things. These are from the Dollar Tree. And as long as you take good care of them, they'll last long enough to... So let me go ahead without further ado and get to this. Let me mix up my peanut butter and the... whatchamacallit first? The butter and the peanut butter. And then I throw in a little bit of the cream and the egg and mix that together. And then I throw in the rest of the ingredients. So I'll be right back. Let me go wash my hands first. I want you guys to know, yes, I do wash my hands. Every single time I touch my phone if I'm cooking, I do wash my hands. So, yeah. Now, one thing I want to mention before I forget is that you do want to have your butter at room temperature. You know what? I probably already mentioned it. Never mind. So I'm just mixing this right now and I'll be back. I just remembered what else I was gonna say. I was gonna mention that I like to use a fork rather than a spoon because it just helps to mash up the butter even better. So, I gotta wash my hands again, but I do have a hand mixer, but it's already been packed away in a box probably 2 months or so ago. So I'll be back. Let me go wash again. Okay, so the butter and the peanut butter are pretty much mixed. Now here and there, there's gonna be like a little chunk of butter, but that's alright. It's gonna melt in the oven anyway. So and you see how it's a very creamy texture now instead of being all lumpy. And so now, what I'm gonna do is throw in some of this. Ow. Okay, hold on. Okay, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by the falling box that hit my foot. What I'm gonna do is add in, just like that, some of the extract. I have no idea how much that is, but I like the flavor that it gives. So I got some heavy whipping cream here. And I'll just add a little bit, just like so. Because who doesn't like milk with cookies, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and crack this egg right here already. And then go wash my hands again. Cool. Oh, you wanna also have your egg at room temperature, because if not, if your egg is cold, I learned from a different lady a long time ago that it'll actually affect the temperature of your butter and harden it up again. So you wanna have your egg for sure at room temperature. And without further ado, I'm gonna go get rid of this and wash my hands again, and then I'll mix it up and I'll show you what else we're gonna do. Okay, so what I did here was I measured out a teaspoon of the baking powder. And then I also have this, I don't know where my full cup and my half cup spoons are at. So what I got is the 1/4 cup. And I'm going to go into the white sugar first and put 2 of these. And then into my brown sugar, because the brown sugar has a tendency to actually stick. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I don't want to really shake the camera around a whole lot. So I'm going to actually put it down when I do this, probably. Or maybe I can do it one-handedly. And I apologize, this bird is chirping in the background. And it's always like, it'll be quiet the rest of the day, but as soon as I start making a video, especially when I'm reading my Bible, all of a sudden, he's just over there being as rude as he can be. Alright, so there's 1/4 right there. Another scoop makes it a half a cup. And then, let me be real careful. We got a teaspoon of the baking powder going in. There we go with that. And then I am gonna need both of my hands for this. So actually, let me put that down. And should I go into the flour first? No, I'm gonna do my sugar first. I'm gonna do my brown sugar right now. Okay, so you can see the second one going in right there. And I'm gonna actually go ahead and give this a nice mix before I put the flour in. And I gotta get my other spoon. I do have one that's 1/3 of a cup. So what I'm actually gonna do is put 5 of that. So that makes 1 cup and 2/3, 1 2/3 cup of flour. That's what I'm putting in. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, now that the sugars are well incorporated into the mixture, already pre-seasoned, oh my goodness, I can't even think of proper words anymore. Ever since I was in the hospital and had the medicines, like my brain has been totally not functioning properly, so I ask for your patience and forgiveness. But it's a little more than a pinch of salt that we put in, because it goes so good with chocolate. If you guys have not tried it yet, the salt like makes the flavor of the chocolate pop even more. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is put in 5 of these 1/3 cups, so it makes it a cup and 2/3. And you'll notice that I have my dry goods inside of big Ziploc type style bags, and that's because I don't want any spills inside my cupboards and cabinets and whatnot. So, because sometimes even though a bag is closed, like stuff still comes out the sides. And if you want, you can go ahead and sift your flour, but I'm honestly not gonna bother to do that unless I'm actually baking a cake. Then I will, but when it comes to cookies, not so much. But for a cake, yes, it needs to be aerated. I think that's 4. I hope that's 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 more. Just shake off the excess. And I want to say thank you once again to the person that sent me the candle. I think I like this Bayside Cedar more than the Midnight one. So I'm very glad that they chose that. That was a blessing. Actually, let me not put the spoon back in. Well, yeah, I'll leave it in there just in case it's like not thick enough. And I'm gonna go ahead and mix this in, and then we're gonna fold in the chocolate chips afterward. And as you can see, I'm like putting my ingredients away as I go along, especially things that need to be refrigerated. It's not good to leave them sitting out. Now the box of butter, it only had the exact amount that I needed for this recipe. That's what was left in the box, so I folded it up and put it in the recycling bin already. So that wasn't a big deal that was sitting out. But when it comes to something like the heavy whipping cream, or if you want to go ahead and use milk, only bring that out as needed. And it probably does change the temperature of the batter, just like if you had a really cold egg would, but it's not as thick as an egg. So I don't think it does that much of a difference, but anyway, that needs to be put away properly. And I like to also start putting everything else away because you see how stuff like this spills? And if I had my sugar bags right here still, it would have been all over that. And then I would have been putting loose flour up into the cabinets, and then you guys know how that goes. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get this mixed in. If I need any more, I'll add it. If not, I'm gonna seal this up and put it away, and I'll be back. Okay, now as you can see here, it's very well incorporated and it has a texture that's like thick mashed potatoes, and that's what we want right there. And I have these, since they're 60% cacao, it's supposedly more healthy than the milk chocolate. So that's why I have these. Like every now and then I get into the drawer and I pop a little handful into my mouth and enjoy it. But that's about maybe once or twice a month that I'll do that. So I still have plenty left over, and it's about to start getting hot outside and stuff. And I don't want these melting on the moving truck. Who knows if we're gonna have a hot or a cold day because the weather's been bipolar lately. But so we're just gonna throw in most of these. I'm gonna save a little bit just to snack on. But I say that's probably about good enough. Let me put a little bit more. Chocolate and peanut butter go together so well. Okay, that's about good enough right there. So I'm gonna get these folded into the mixture and I'll be right back. So that's what it's looking like right now. And for this next step, I am going to need both of my hands because I'm gonna actually roll this into dough balls, and then when I have them about a pretty even shape, then I'm gonna flatten them onto the cookie sheets. And I just want to say I do not grease the cookie sheets when I'm making peanut butter cookies because the peanut butter itself has oils in it. Plus the butter is also like good for that to make stuff not stick so much. So it's really not a necessity. But if you want to go ahead and grease your cookie sheets, that's up to you. But personally, I think if I put extra oil on it, it's gonna make my cookies crispy, and that's not exactly the type that I like. If you like it, go ahead, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave mine ungreased. I'm gonna roll these into balls, and then when I'm flattening them, then I'll come back and show you what they look like on the trays, and I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see here, I have flattened them already ahead of time on the cookie sheet. And when it's plain peanut butter cookies, you can actually make a nice little crisscross design on them with the fork. But since these ones have chocolate chips inside of them, or if you want to add any other ingredient like pretzels or M&Ms or whatever the case may be, I don't really recommend it because it's chunkier and so it's not going to turn out as pretty as one would imagine. And as you can see, I still have plenty of the dough left here to make even more. And I want to pop these into the oven at 375 degrees for anywhere between 9 to 15 minutes, usually around the 12-minute mark they'll be done. And the important thing to remember with peanut butter cookies is that these particular ones are not gonna be very hard on the top. They're still gonna seem like if they're raw, even though it's not, because of the high oil content in the peanut butter and the whatchamacallit, the butter also makes it moist. So they're gonna look like they're raw when they're actually not. And if you leave them in there too long, they will burn on you. So just be mindful of that. Keep attention to your sense of smell. Look at the color, look around the edges to see if you see them being too brown. And without further ado, let me get to it. And then I'm gonna pop these into the oven. And Lord willing, they're gonna come out nicely. Oh, it's hot over here. Okay, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna finish up and keep on cleaning up my table, of course, because I dropped a little bit of the batter. Where did it go? There was like a little piece that had fallen out the bowl when I was doing it, and then there's a spot over there. But oh, I found it. It's right here. So this had fell, and it has eggs in it and raw flour. I do not want my kitchen cross-contaminated or anything like that. So I do like to clean as I go along, and I'm always forever washing my hands. So a lot of times you'll see that my hands are dry and ashy. Right now it doesn't look like it. Maybe there's moisturizer in myself or probably the oil from this. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up, and when I pull them out, I'll just do a thumbnail because I don't want to be leaving the camera waiting so long for so many minutes, and then um yeah, because if I leave it paused, I don't know if it's gonna like delete my video, like if it turns itself off or whatever. Because I know that my screen time, I do have it set to stay on for 10 minutes if I'm not touching it or doing anything, but I don't want to take that chance with you guys. So I just want to thank everyone so much for watching. I hope that this recipe is a blessing to somebody. If you want to go ahead and try it out yourself, please drop it in the comments. Let me know if you make it the same way, if you do something different, if you use this recipe and tweak it at all. Let me know if you try it, if you like it, if you don't like it, and I'm interested in your comments. So thank you so much once again for watching. If you're in the Midwest, anywhere from Minnesota down to over there by, let me see, up in Minnesota is Francesca and Mike. And in Missouri, we got My Renaissance Grandma. In Indiana, we got Homesteading with Janet. We got Miss T with the T. We got TT's Urban Pantry. Up in Wisconsin, my best friend Becky. And in Ohio Valley, we got Vision Preparedness. We got Gina versus Gina. We got You Grow Roll up in Akron. So anybody that's in the Midwest, if I forgot your name right now, I apologize, but y'all be watching out either on Ryan Hall y'all's channel or on Max Velocity, because all of us are due for tornadoes today and severe thunderstorms.
Is it the evening?
Almost, sweetie. It's getting dark outside, but it's not evening just yet. It's probably, I don't think it's even 2 o'clock yet, to be honest. But we are in for severe storms. As you heard my son asking me, is it evening? It's already dark outside. So storms are on the way. So please be watching out on these weathermen's channels and keep an eye so you can know not to be scared, but to be prepared. And I apologize for that noise in the background. He's dumping his Legos right now. So thank you so much once again for watching, and have a very blessed rest of your day. Bye.